Hello, and welcome back to more Films That Are Constant Critique, where we take a look at films, some good, some bad, and some downright awful. I'm Bongo Baikov, joined by our host Maverick, Dren, Zaria. This week, we're taking a look at the 1996 film, Lawnmower Man 2, Beyond Cyberspace.
Oh, come on. Can't we just get beyond cyberspace? Look, you knew I had to say that at least once during this. But yeah, this is a movie that exists, apparently. They're like, first Lawnmower Man movie made money, technically, so here's another one. Why not? And I mean, we had to do this one because, the Lawnmower Man is in our heads now, so...
That's true.
So, Mad Max Beyond Cyberspace. I don't know how many Thunderdome references I'm gonna make to it. Sorry, Lawnmower Man 2 Beyond Thunderdome. There we go. There's the right title.
That's the right title.
Yeah. It was first shown at the Shanghai International Film Festival in 1995. So I guess technically it's 1990. Some places say 1996. Some say 1995. But anyway. It got a theatrical release in the US in 1996. Going in, I thought this was a direct-to-video movie. I don't know if you did, but I did.
I thought so too. At a certain point while watching it, I looked at the Wikipedia page and saw the box office listing, and I was like, oh no. They put this in theaters.
This cost $15 million and made $2.4 million, so it cost half as much as Mortal Kombat Annihilation, just to put things in perspective. It also cost more to make than the first Lawnmower Man movie. Okay, that's ridiculous.
It doesn't really look like it.
It's honestly getting to the point where I'm feeling like most of the movies we're reviewing are money laundering schemes. Because where did the money go?
The last, 3 or 4.
15 million!
Yeah.
Maybe this was supposed to be a direct-to-DVD or direct-to-VHS movie, but then they're like, no, let's see if we can put it out in theaters. I hope
we can't justify this much money going into a direct-to-DVD movie.
I hope this was a limited release. Because if not, I'm gonna lose some faith in humanity. It also had the alternate title, Lawnmower Man 2 Job's War. Okay.
I guess that's a bit more accurate of a subtitle.
It's not as memorable, though.
No.
It also, another title, it was originally going to be called Lawnmower Man 2 Mind Fire, according to the VHS release of the first movie.
Huh.
Okay, so between those three titles, I would say Mind Fire is probably the worst one.
Yeah.
Job's War is a little better. And then Beyond Cyberspace, I don't know. None of them are, great
None of
titles.
them are really great. None of them are really winners.
But Mind Fire is definitely the worst one.
Yeah.
The tagline was extremely lazy because it took the tagline of the first movie, which was, God made him simple, science made him a god. And then they added one sentence. Now he wants revenge.
That's so lazy.
It's bad, yeah. Unlike the first movie, this was rated PG-13.
Okay.
Because the first one was rated G, if you remember right.
Yeah.
That's why it had all the sex scenes in it, and violence. It was G-rated, just like Oppenheimer. Oh man, imagine a G-rated Oppenheimer. That would be insane.
That would be weird. I don't even know how you'd really do that. It would be kind of fun to make a G-rated cut.
Is that the Barbenheimer one? Like, they just make a G-rated Oppenheimer?
You change, like, you put a little pink color filter over it.
I still don't understand that. I'm waiting for somebody to actually do a Barbenheimer fan edit, because that would be funny.
Yeah.
Okay, this was directed by Farhad Mann, who was mostly a TV director. In fact, he directed the pilot episode of the Max Headroom show.
That makes sense.
It does, yeah. For several reasons, it makes sense. So the cast. I was looking at this cast, and it was a bunch of people who I was like, I don't recognize their names. But then I actually looked at their filmographies, and I was surprised how many of their faces I recognized.
Okay.
There's a bunch of people that are like, just, you're like, oh yeah, I kind of know them. Patrick Bergen. He was in Ella Enchanted.
Okay.
He played Dr. Frankenstein in a TV movie that had Randy Quaid as the monster.
Oh.
Does this mean that Cousin Eddie is a scientific experiment?
Exactly.
That would actually make a lot of sense. Patrick Bergen also played Dracula in a TV miniseries, which, you know what? That is actually pretty impressive that he played both Dr. Frankenstein and Count Dracula. So he has that going for him.
Yeah.
He played Pierce Brosnan's brother in the classic Taffin. I don't know if you ever heard of that movie.
I have not.
Well, you could probably guess why. There is one line, though, that's, like, really funny. One line delivery from Pierce Brosnan. Maybe you shouldn't be living here. He's also in some movie called Highway to Hell, which the only reason I've heard of that is because I was looking at a list of movies that had Cleopatra in them.
Okay.
Apparently Cleopatra is in a movie called Highway to Hell. Why? I don't know. That Matt Frewer is in this, so we have the return of Max Headroom himself.
Yeah. He also made an appearance in Supergirl.
Yes, but I would rather forget about that one. I'm sure you would too.
Yes.
But you know what? I was going into this thinking, you know what? Max Headroom in a Lawnmower Man sequel, that's
a pretty solid casting choice.
maybe there'll be something here. Austin O'Brien, which he is in, well, okay, he's the only cast member that returned from the first Lawnmower Man movie.
Yep. He played Peter, the little kid.
I forgot to mention his character name in these movies is Peter Parquet.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with, Spider-Man. He's also in Last Action Hero. That's like the only other thing worth mentioning.
Huh.
That might be his entire filmography, actually, because I don't know.
Well, I'm looking at this. So he's credited in Apollo 13, but he doesn't actually appear in the movie.
Deleted scenes, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, he's in Prehysteria, if anybody remembers that.
Huh.
I'm not sure I even do. And then it's like, it seems like the rest of it's TV stuff. It's stuff that doesn't even have Wikipedia pages, so what the... Anyway. Oh, My Girl 2. Does anybody remember the sequel to My Girl? No, I don't know if anybody does. There's one cast member in this who is in the Friday the 13th series.
Yeah, the TV series, which I don't know if we've talked about that at all.
We did during I think during one of the Friday the 13th podcasts, briefly.
Oh, because one of the actors was also in one of those, I
It's
think.
because I haven't really seen it, so, you know.
Yeah. And it's not really connected at all to
Jason's
the
not
actual
even in it.
movies.
I've heard Jason
Yeah,
isn't even
exactly,
in it.
exactly.
And she's also in Walker, Texas Ranger, and there's this movie called Death Machine, which maybe we should do that on the
Okay.
podcast. Because it's insane. If I remember correctly, I think that's the movie I'm thinking of. Is that the movie with Brad Dourif? I think it is. Yeah. Maybe we should do that on the podcast at some point. Kevin Conway, which there's something really notable about him. He played Sergeant Buster Kilrain in both Gettysburg and Gods and Generals.
Oh. Huh.
Richard Fancy, he was Elaine's boss in Seinfeld.
Oh, nice.
Randomly, a lot of these people are TV actors, I was noticing.
Yeah.
There's a few cast members in this who are on Star Trek The Next Generation. I noticed. Yeah. And the Molly Shannon, I was looking at her filmography, and I was actually surprised at how many that I recognized.
Yeah.
One of which was the Jim Carrey Grinch. That was probably the main one that popped out at me.
Oh.
She's also on SNL. I was just go look at her filmography. Yeah. I was shocked at how many things I'd seen her in.
I'm just looking at her celebrity impressions from SNL. Wow.
I've probably seen one with her. I think there was one where she played Monica Lewinsky. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. She was in the Santa Claus too.
Oh, was that the... Yeah. That's the one with, like, the evil toy version of Santa, if I remember right.
I think so, yeah.
It's one of two sequels where Tim Allen gets replaced with an evil toy version of himself. Like a toy duplicate of himself. Maybe not necessarily evil, but Toy Story 2 also exists.
Yeah.
The guy that played Tim Drake in Batman Beyond the Return of the Joker is in this, apparently.
Really?
So I was, like, surprised, like, going through this cast and being like, you know, because I didn't really recognize most of the names, but I actually did research, and I was like, wait a minute.
Oh, he was also Tim Drake in 12 episodes of the Batman series and an episode of the Superman series from that time.
Oh, really? Okay. I guess I'm not surprised. Initial thoughts, and I'll let you go first, but before you do, okay. I'm going to apologize for this one. Was this one your fault or my fault? I don't remember.
At this point, I have no idea, but
I'm still going to apologize for this one anyway. So
we need to stop watching these movies. So where to even begin? So last week we're just coming off of Hollow Man 2.
Yeah.
Terrible, boring movie, weird sequel, and it has it has some pretty similar energy to Hollow Man 2, where it feels kind of disconnected. Not a lot's happening. But, weirdly enough, there were some moments where I was kind of thinking about a Highlander 2. The fact that the fact that somehow...
I didn't realize that. You know what? Now that you mention that, I can kind of see it. I can kind of see why. Now that you mention it.
Yeah. Because for whatever reason, even though this takes place only 6 years after the first movie, for whatever reason, the world's a dystopia now.
Oh, you forgot to mention the ozone layer melted and Sean Connery is an alien. You forgot to mention that.
Yes. But on top of those, it ends with like a weird sword fight. It's a strange movie. The I would say most of the middle of this really does drag. But I would say like the opening maybe like 15-20 minutes and the ending 15 and 20 minutes are so just weird, borderline nonsensical that those moments are pretty entertaining to watch, but it just doesn't make up for what the slog in the middle is.
I think at some point I did like go into other tabs and do other things because the middle of it was
Yeah.
just I was yeah.
And what's weird is there's a lot of moments in this where they touch on things that would make for far more interesting movies.
Yes.
Like
yes.
a movie on why the world is like this only 6 years after the first movie. There's flying cars now.
They basically did the same thing with Highlander that Highlander 2 did, where they just ripped off Blade Runner.
Yeah. But like on top of that, the last 20 minutes of this could have been its own movie, where you have the Job like making his own cult based around himself. And for whatever reason, it's just shoved into like 2 scenes at the end of the movie. It's just like there were pieces here that could have made something interesting, and they just chose not to. It's strange.
Okay. Did you have anything else to add, or?
I guess my last thing is none of the performances really stood out for me, except for Matt Frewer's. He had a couple moments throughout where I was like, that was entertaining, but at the same time, it felt like he was just playing Max Headroom.
He felt like Jim Carrey in this.
Yeah, okay, yeah, like a mix of Jim Carrey and Max Headroom.
And sometimes when he played Matt, like, I think Matt Frewer at one point did get mad at Jim Carrey because he felt like Jim Carrey was imitating Max Headroom sometimes, and they are a little similar in some ways, but
yeah.
He really, but in this one, he really he felt like Jim Carrey in like Batman Forever or The Mask.
Kind of, yeah.
Especially The Mask, actually. Now that I think about it. Okay, so I had never seen this before. There have been a few times though where I thought that I did, but then I realized I'm confusing it with I'm confusing it with Fortress 2 Re-Entry for whatever reason.
I don't think I've even heard of this.
Fortress, that's the movie Christopher Lambert. It's like this futuristic prison. The first one, you know what? Maybe we should do that on the podcast at some point. That might be a good podcast.
That's good. Yeah.
Kurtwood Smith is I think the bad guy in the first one, if I remember right.
Huh.
Yeah, for some reason, Lawnmower Man 2 and Fortress 2. Did they have like a similar poster or something? Is that why? I don't know, actually.
Not really. I mean, I guess he's blue, but like...
I don't know why I can't... Fortress 2? I don't know. Maybe they came out... Well, that movie came out afterwards. Maybe it's just because... I don't know. Maybe it's just because they're sequels that just aren't very well regarded. I don't know. So basically, I went into this movie blind. The only thing I knew about Lawnmower Man 2 was I read somewhere it had some similarities to Blade Runner.
Well, yeah.
And like maybe a few, like, because on IMDb I saw like a few clips of the trailer. I'm like, wow, these effects.
Yeah.
My hope was that, okay, obviously this is not going to be a good movie. I knew that going in. But can it at least be batshit insane like the first movie was? Because, I mean, this has a 2.6 on IMDb, 1.8 on Letterboxd. It's one of the worst reviewed movies on those sites that we've done. So, based on that, I was expecting this to be, like, nearly unwatchable. Going in, I honestly just did not want to watch it. I was like, good lord. That said, there was a part of me that was curious what happened to Job and Dr. Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah.
Because the ending of that first movie does set up some interesting questions, most of which are ignored in this movie.
Most, I think you mean all.
Yeah. And I figured, okay, maybe Matt Frewer being in this one would at least make it entertaining. And yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
Not the worst thing we've watched. It was more enjoyable than Hollow Man 2, which is the movie we
I was
did.
just about to ask whether or not you liked it more than Hollow Man 2.
Definitely. This had more things happening in it.
Yeah.
This movie, like, you know, the middle section of it was pretty bad and boring. Like, it had boring parts, but there were at least enough insane things that happened that I was like, okay, it's at least more entertaining. I don't know if
Yeah.
You know, I might call it a better movie as well, just because I don't know.
It feels like more happens in this than in Hollow Man 2. I think that automatically makes it a better movie.
I don't know if I'd call it a better made movie, though. But anyway. Because it had some interesting ideas. Matt Frewer was fun to watch, but overall, no shit. This is not a good movie. But thankfully, I did not have high expectations for it. What do you want to guess Leonard Maltin gave this?
A bomb. It can't be anything higher than a bomb.
I forgot to write, I wrote his rating, but I forgot to write what he said about it, but I don't really give a shit anyway, because he gave this 2 out of 4 stars.
What do you mean he gave it 2 out of 4 stars?
Which, I'd like to point out, that's higher than what he gave the first movie. The first movie 1.5. Do I even need... I don't even know if I want to read what he said about it, because I'm like, why?
What do you mean? 2 out of 4 stars. That's criminal.
Same ranking of Max Payne, by the
way. No.
Oh my god. Oh, I was gonna ask, were any clips from this used in Beyond the Mind's Eye?
I don't think so. I think it was only stuff from the first movie.
I think they do recycle. Don't they recycle some shots from the first movie in this, though? They might have.
A couple. The only one that I really remember is when they do in the recap at the beginning.
Like the beginning, yeah, they do a recap.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the story. Going into this, I was wondering if this would fall for the Shrek 3 curse, and it doesn't.
That's because it's not Lawnmower Man 3.
Oh, God. Don't tell me there's a Lawnmower Man 3. I'm not sitting through it. If there is, I'm not watching it.
No, thankfully that was canceled.
So, Job is stuck in the VR world. His kid friend from the first movie wants to help him and tries to get the scientist from the first movie to help. And then things go off the rails. Because of course they do. Because you wouldn't have a movie. Anyway. I have more pros about this one than Hollow Man 2, so there's that.
There's one thing I would like to correct. It's not the scientist from the first movie.
Wait, what? I thought it was.
No, because Pierce Brosnan's character was Dr. Lawrence Angelo. Matt Bergen in this is Benjamin Trace.
I thought it was the same guy.
Nope. I thought so too. Until like halfway through the movie.
So it's just some random dude that they...
Yes.
Then what's even the point of this movie? Because he's even... Okay, wait. Oh, you've got to be fucking kidding me. Okay. Well, that makes quite a few of my notes pointless then, in that case. But we'll get to that. I thought it was the same guy. Are you fucking serious? Because they even... Okay.
I thought it was the same guy for like half the movie, too.
Okay, so pros. I watched this weeks ago, so I've probably forgotten most of it anyway. That's my first pro. Oh boy. The first thing I wrote though was more happens in the first minute of this movie than in the entirety of Hollow Man 2.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
This is a bunch of weird digital effects that may or may not be a flashback to the first movie. I was really confused during that.
Yeah.
I was 1 minute into this and already it lost me. I'm like, I have no idea what's happening.
And I will say, I guess this is kind of a con, but the intro was really weird because they put the flashback in this weird court scene into like a really tight 4:3 aspect ratio.
Oh yeah, what was with the that was something I noticed was the aspect ratio was different during the opening. I was like
Honestly,
wait.
I was a little afraid. I was like, no, don't tell me the whole thing's gonna be like this.
I was really scared the whole movie was gonna be that really small aspect ratio, but thankfully it wasn't. Wow. Wow, were they trying to make it seem like you were watching it on a computer or something? Is that what it was? I don't know.
Maybe.
But, okay, that one thing I will say about this movie, that they must have spent all the money on the VR effects, because, I mean, the effects in this, they don't look that bad for the time period. Yeah, they look about like what?
For the time, it looks like, honestly, almost comparable to something like Myst or Riven.
I was gonna just say the first movie. But yeah, okay, video game graphics.
Yeah.
And then I realized, wait a minute, Matt Frewer is playing Job in this? And I was like, okay, this might have some promise, because you have Max Headroom playing evil Max Headroom.
Yeah, pretty much.
And he was by far the most enjoyable part of this movie, because he's basically just hamming it up the whole time. It's just this really ridiculous... Again, I compared him to Jim Carrey earlier, and he really just...
Yeah. He really feels like Jim Carrey, especially like moments where he's yelling. It sounds a lot like Jim Carrey's yelling.
And he's also just... His character really he feels like a manic cartoon character that makes bad jokes.
Yeah.
He doesn't feel anything like Job from the first movie, though. I don't remember Jeff Fahey. Jeff Fahey wasn't this over the top. Like, sometimes he was, but not this over the top. And I'm like, okay, maybe it's not like a great performance, technically, but at least he looks like he's having fun. Just doing his weird Jim Carrey impression.
And his costume looks interesting, because it looks like they took his, like the 3D model for him in the first movie and tried to turn it into an actual suit, which I thought looked kind of interesting.
I thought it was a weird costume, though. Let me look at a picture of it. I was trying to think of what to compare it to, because I was like, what is it?
It's hard to compare it to anything.
I'm thinking of, like, Stargate or something, like one of the...
Yeah.
Like one of the characters in, like, Stargate.
I have great news for you, by the way. I'm on the IMDb page.
Oh, no.
If you go through the screenshots, it's just the whole movie.
Somebody actually took the time to just have... Wow.
Anyway.
Wait, does this have a Blu-ray release? Are you serious? Are you serious? Yeah, this has a Blu-ray release. Although, you find it under the title Job's War instead of...
Beyond Cyberspace.
So it might be another region, actually. But yeah, so basically, whenever Matt Frewer is just going completely insane, the movie has some fun moments, which...
Yeah,
and you know what? Kind of
very enjoyable.
That's pretty on-brand, considering the first movie, because it became a lot more entertaining once Job went crazy in that movie, so...
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so basically in this movie, Job is still alive. Yeah, I guess he is at the end of the first movie as well. Oh, we have a title card that just says Los Angeles, the future,
The
and
future.
that title card made me laugh so hard.
I love how just indescript it is.
And it looks like Blade Runner. I mean, you got the dour
Yeah.
cityscapes, futuristic cars. I mean, all they're missing is replicants. That's all they're missing.
And
the title of this movie,
keep in mind again,
honestly, the title of this movie could have just been "I Was a Teenage Blade Runner."
and let's keep in mind that Los Angeles the future means 6 years after the first movie.
6 years? Did they ever specify that it's 6 years?
I don't know if they ever said it directly, but that's how much older Peter's character is. So it would have to be 6 years.
Okay. Unless he ages in a weird way, like Martin Brundle from The Fly 2, another sequel we did, which is a better movie than this. But yeah, this is what another sequel we've done recently that ripped off set design from Blade Runner.
Yeah,
because Highlander 2 exists. Highlander 2 Beyond Cyberspace. The title will make about as much sense as the actual title, The Quickening. But yeah, so the beginning, it was like they're like flying, and it looks like Peter Pan or something.
Yeah, it looks like they're above like the mountains from Jurassic Park.
Kinda, yeah. Somebody needs to put the music from Jurassic Park over it. There's a motorcycle chase. It wasn't good, but like I was less than 15 minutes in, and already more had happened in the movie than in Hollow Man 2.
Yeah.
Another thing to put into perspective, it's the same length as Hollow Man 2, I think.
Yeah.
92 minutes. I think they're both the same length. And then Austin O'Brien goes to meet not the scientist from the first movie, some other guy.
Just some other random scientist.
That makes no sense, because, okay, it was Pierce Brosnan's character that made the VR stuff in the first movie, so why wouldn't it? I don't even know. But the kid basically found a way to meet Job in virtual reality, I guess.
By the way, did you notice what they called the VR headsets?
Was it the how the hell is it pronounced? The Chiron chip?
So the Chiron chip is what the one scientist invented. They called the headsets iPhones.
Wait, are you serious? I didn't notice that.
Yeah. There was like one scene where he's like, "Gentlemen, put on your iPhones."
Did Steve Jobs see this movie? Is that what you're telling me?
I think Farhad Mann has a lawsuit up his sleeve.
Steve Jobs is dead, so I mean he'll have to sue somebody else.
They can still sue Apple.
Let me look. Wait. Because Apple's been around a while, so I don't know if iPhone...
Yeah, but iPhone was like late.
I feel like that was later, yeah. iPhones came later, didn't they? 2007. So yeah, don't tell me they actually named it after this movie. Am I gonna have to like destroy my iPhone with a mallet just because of its association to this movie? Oh boy. Doesn't say anything about that. I mean, who the fuck saw... Okay, this movie cost $15 million, it made $2 million. Who the fuck saw Lawnmower Man 2? Besides Steve Jobs, I guess. I mean, they probably don't have enough money for a lawsuit.
That's fair.
Probably forgot about this movie like everybody else did. Oh, there's a PG-13 F-bomb in this, said by Matt Frewer.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so Matt Frewer, basically when this movie becomes entertaining, it's when Matt Frewer goes insane. He hijacks a train at
Yes.
one point, which is another thing that kind of happened in Highlander 2, The Quickening. I see
That's
what you
right.
mean now when you made that comparison. They're not aliens, though, in this.
True, true. Not that we know of.
And he hacks into. I think he hacked into a plane at one point.
Yeah, yeah, he causes a plane crash that like kills like a congressman, I think.
Oh god, I don't think that's how planes work, is it? I feel like there was something similar in. Okay, no, it was even more dumb in that movie. There's this movie called let me make sure I get the title right. Was it uh Turbulence 3 Heavy Metal?
Ooh, that is a name.
They also hack into a plane in that movie, except then they drive the plane with a joystick. It's so stupid. And oh, you know what? I'll give them this. This movie bothered to have a MacGuffin, the Chiron
That's
chip,
true. It had the Chiron chip, which was the secret to Egypt.
and it kind is that why it kind of looked like the Illuminati logo? Because it kind of does.
I think so. That's why they made it look like a pyramid with an eye.
It kind of looks like the Illuminati logo. It's a good thing this movie bombed. Otherwise, conspiracy theorists would have a field day with it.
Yeah.
Or maybe this is a prequel to National Treasure. I don't know. Or sorry, a sequel because it takes place in the future. National Treasure is the prequel to this.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
You know what? Yeah, you know what? They should have cast Nicolas Cage as Job. Or the scientist. You know, if they had cast Nicolas Cage as the scientist in this movie, that might have been enough to push
That
this
would have been
movie.
so entertaining.
That might have been enough to push this movie over into funny bad territory.
Yeah, yeah.
Because really, aside from Matt Frewer, most of the cast members in this were just no.
Yeah. They were just all so boring. There's another stupid love plot between
We're not
the
to
main lead
cons yet.
scientist.
We're not to cons yet,
Ah!
technically, but
Sorry.
he shoots lasers at people in this. Because I mean, yeah.
Okay, that was actually really funny. Do we want to get? Do you have any other pros until like the final 20 minutes?
I'm gonna let me edit a few things. just real quick. Real quick, I'm gonna edit because there's I mentioned earlier because I got the characters mixed up. You know, because I'm gonna have to throw. So technically, I just added something to cons. Then in that case, okay. So there's this weird president guy. Okay, no, sorry, no, sorry. Wait a second. So they take the president of the United States into VR, which. Wow, is that a bad idea? But you know what? Okay, at least with this one, there's occasionally some nutty ideas that got thrown in there.
Yeah.
They don't go anywhere, but at least it's like enough for you to go, okay, I haven't exactly seen that before. But yeah, the whole movie, I was trying to think of what the look of Job in this movie was reminding me of with like the bald head and costume. He kind of looks like he should be playing the Baron's nephew from Dune Part 2.
I was kind of thinking he looks like a character from The Fifth Element.
The Fifth Element, oh my god, yes. It's like if Dune Part 2 was like a TV movie and it had the tone of The Fifth Element, that's basically, yeah, that's what his character would. There we go. The Fifth Element, that's what. That's what I was trying to think of, but like I just couldn't like. I think this came out around the same time too, so that might be why.
Yeah, Fifth Element was 1997.
Like, yeah, a year apart. There were some interesting things with Job at the end of the movie. Like, he's like turning into people speaking different languages to market the VR around the world. You know, that was something they could have done more with, having him shapeshift. That was kind of an interesting twist.
They did give him a cool sword, too. We see it a couple times.
There's a sword fight. That's another thing. You mentioned that earlier. There's a sword fight at the end of the movie. It doesn't last very long, unfortunately, but it's so crazy. And then Job, like, merges with the chip. The ending of this movie is just completely just bonkers.
Just nonsense. Yeah.
He, like, malfunctions and ends up in the real world. Yeah, it was weird. And then they just stop the other bad guy by electrocuting him, and I'm like, well, that was That's another thing. There's a bad guy. There's another bad guy in this. He looks like who looked kind of like the Master from Doctor Who a bit.
A little bit, yeah.
The original version of the Master from like the 70s and like 80s and stuff with the beard. Like if Rip Torn had played the Master in Doctor Who, that's kind of what he was reminding me of. Oh, there's a digital White House, but it looks gray.
Yeah. It's part of like their like 3D like cyberspace sets.
The ending of this movie was actually kind of interesting because there was all these like because Job wants cyberspace to replace the real world, which I thought that was a really fascinating idea, and then they just don't do anything with it, obviously. Yeah. And then all the stuff with the president, like the White House is gray, the Gray House, I guess. Honestly, the way AI is going, I wouldn't be surprised if shit like this starts happening.
Oh boy, the future is coming, and it looks like Lawnmower Man too.
Oh, is that why iPhones are in this? Anyway.
Exactly.
Did you have any other pros?
So the ending is like just the right amount of insane, because in the last 20 minutes, Job ends up kind of kidnapping a bunch of people and putting them into VR and becomes like a god to them. And then the main scientist character, who's not the scientist from the first movie, shows up, also has a sword for whatever reason, starts having a sword fight. And then as he's like kind of beating Job and he starts getting absorbed into the light, he shoots lasers at him. It's like crazy and weird, and it comes out of nowhere. And I wish that this part of the movie was like the whole movie.
Yeah. Because there were a lot, like, I guess this is getting into cons, but did you have any?
I'm fully ready to get into cons.
Yeah, there were like a lot of long stretches of just not much happening.
Yeah.
It was missing a lot of the, like, it did have a few crazy parts, but it missed a lot of the bizarre touches that made the first movie entertaining.
Yeah.
And the action scenes were pretty boring. A lot of it was just people running down hallways with guns, which maybe if it was shot in a more interesting way, or if there's any tension, that would be okay. But the characters and the acting in this is just so wooden from most of the people in this.
Yeah.
And I first noticed this just from like the doctors and nurses at the beginning of the movie. But yeah, it was just the characters were dull, especially the scientists. Like, and like you said, apparently that character isn't actually Pierce Brosnan's character, but I thought he was.
Random.
It would have made sense if he was, because okay, one thing I wrote as a pro, and I had to switch it around. I wrote this. I guess it is kind of interesting seeing what happened to the scientists from the first movie. He said he
Nope.
would take his work underground, or in other words, he's like the Unabomber. He just lives in some shack in the middle of nowhere. But instead, it's just some random scientist with Michael Madsen's hair that they found randomly. Like, what?
I will say, I had that written down initially too. I'm like, it's kind of weird to see Pierce Brosnan's character from the first movie living in the middle of nowhere. And then, like, eventually I was like, how come he acts like he doesn't know who Peter is, or like he doesn't know who Job is? And then I looked it up and I'm like, oh, it's not the same character.
Doesn't make any sense. Why would... Don't you want the... it doesn't make any fucking sense. What the... Anyway. Another thing. So I thought this was a direct-to-video movie. From the way it's
Nope.
shot, the acting, the fact you never hear about this movie. But no, this cost millions to make. And this does not look like something that should have made it to theaters.
Like, at all.
It's pretty blandly shot and edited. It was directed by a TV guy, and it feels it.
It shows. It just looks like a TV movie.
The flying effects in this, they look better than Superman 4, but worse than Supergirl.
That's pretty accurate.
And also the flying scenes look like Peter Pan, for some reason.
Yeah.
And it's actually, speaking of which, I was watching the beginning of this movie and going, oh god, don't tell me this is gonna feel like a bad kids movie. And parts of it kind of did.
I had that written down. I said it feels like some sort of like bad like kids Saturday morning movie.
The kids in this were really annoying, and they wear these like berets like they're teenage Che Guevaras or something.
Yeah.
And just none of them were interesting. It also ignores the ending of the first movie, because in the first movie, Job was planning to connect all the telephones across the country so that everyone's consciousness will enter him, and then the first movie ends with the phones ringing.
Yeah.
Whereas here, he's still trapped in the VR world. Somehow. What?
Because, like, they took his body and put him back in for some reason, because that's a good idea. And then, another thing with him is they just completely...
And why wouldn't...
It feels like they kind of...
Why wouldn't you get Pierce Brosnan's character back? Because wouldn't he know how to stop all of this? It's so I don't know. Maybe his character, because I guess it does take place in the future. Maybe his character died, and they just do they not even mention him? I don't even remember.
I don't think they did. I don't remember.
That one of the few positives I had for the movie, and now it's not. It's like
it's
what?
gone. It's been eradicated. It's been reversed. It's a con now.
Wow.
Another thing about Job. They completely nerfed Job. He's not telekinetic anymore. He doesn't have his mind powers like he had in the first movie. He's just locked to cyberspace.
Well, he does shapeshift, I guess. Yeah, his powers aren't... You know what? Yeah, that's another good point. His powers aren't very consistent with the first movie.
No.
In this, what does he do? He shapeshifts, he shoots lasers, he has a dumb sword fight at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
He's not as powerful in this as he was in the first movie. It's weird. Anyway. I was gonna say maybe it was because of budget issues, but this cost more to make. Where'd the money go?
Yeah. By a pretty substantial amount, too.
Also, the whole point of a sequel is lost after the first movie anyway, because in the first movie, Job starts off as a guy with a mental disability before becoming a software sorcerer, I guess, and then a god. Whereas here, he's just a god, apparently.
A god who becomes the Lawnmower Man at the end of the film.
There's, like, really nothing else to do with his character. I mean, they could make him more powerful, But they don't
But they
even
don't.
do that. But anyway. There's another bad guy in this, and he's pretty generic.
Yeah, just generic evil businessman.
3D CEO type or whatever. He looks like the master, like I mentioned. It feels like a role that Rip Torn was supposed to play, so I guess they got Diet
Yeah.
Rip Torn. And really, that's the problem with the movie, is it just feels rather generic. The first movie was not a great movie by any means, but it was at least, like, eccentric and weird.
Yeah, it was just overall more entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, and what should be part of the big climax in the VR world? Driving motorcycles in it.
Yeah, of course.
They couldn't have come up with something more creative with it. I mean, I think that's part of my problem with this movie, is, like, you have this really interesting concept with the whole VR thing, and they really just don't do
use it.
much of anything with it. Like you said earlier, any interesting ideas they have, they don't do anything with them.
Exactly. It's all just like background flavor text, and it's like, no. This is what the movie should be focused on.
I don't know what they were thinking with this movie. Like, granted, I mean, what do we expect from Lawnmower Man 2, for fuck's sake?
That's fair.
Did you have anything else to...
The music was mixed really badly. Anytime there was music, you couldn't hear what people were saying.
I don't remember that. I think the reason I didn't notice that is because I watched it on Tubi with subtitles. That might be why.
Yeah. I actually watched this. It's on Amazon Prime for free right now. So if you're dying to go watch it and you have an Amazon Prime subscription, there you go.
At least you didn't have to pay Jeff to watch it. So
That's true. I guess one last little con to just throw in here real quick is, like Hollow Man 2, it tries to throw in a romance subplot that feels so just forced and unnatural, almost non-existent, because the main scientist character, who's not Pierce Brosnan's character from the first movie, meets up like with his ex, and they fight for a minute, and then they have one other scene together before the end, and then in the end they just get back together. We don't see anything happen between them. It is so just weird and thrown in there.
yeah, it's so thrown in there that I don't even remember, honestly. Granted, I watched this a few weeks ago, so. But I mean, that's par for the course with these movies.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like we've done several movies in a row where the romance felt forced. Like,
Yeah.
because let's see, Highlander 2, it felt forced. The Fly 2, it felt forced. Maybe less so, but, you know. Hollow Man 2, definitely.
I don't even know if I can call Hollow Man 2's forced. It was borderline non-existent until they just told you that it happened.
It was so non-existent that I didn't even realize until we were recording that that's what they were going for. That's how bad it was. And then this one, I think it was just such a minor part of the movie that I didn't really write anything about it in my notes. So, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last thing I had written down, it was, it's kind of a sad thing about this movie. David Koresh didn't live to see the sequel to his favorite movie.
Oh, darn. I'm sure he would have loved it.
The poor cult leader didn't know how his story ended.
Truly a tragedy.
Job is like trying to start a cult in this movie too. Is that why he related to him so much? Like, Jesus. Is that it? Or like, should we get into overall thoughts?
I think it's time for overall thoughts. There's nothing much more to say about Lawnmower Man 2.
It's pretty bad. Matt Frewer's hammy performance made for a few fun parts. The ending's kind of crazy and ridiculous. I'm still surprised this got a theatrical release.
It really shouldn't have.
This looks like direct-to-video dog shit. I mean, the first movie wasn't Citizen Kane, but it sure as hell made it look like that. It was pretty generic for the most part. Hell, I kind of just wanted to watch Lawnmower Man again. While watching that's what this movie was like. I was just going, I'd rather just watch Lawnmower Man again.
Yeah.
That said, I wasn't angry or annoyed at this one. It was honestly...
Yeah.
This is honestly about what I expected it to be. The only unexpected thing for me was that its budget was way higher than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Really, all this movie needed to do was just be as crazy as the first movie was, and it really wasn't. Like, few parts were of it. Nah. The plot was about as nonsensical, but the actual VR scenes, they weren't as insane, unfortunately. Maybe because it was PG-13. The first one was R, so they toned it down a bit. Maybe that's why. So overall, I would not recommend Lawnmower Man 2 Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. No. Do you have anything else to add?
So I kind of went into Lawnmower Man 2, the Squeakquel, with very low expectations and hopes. I can't even say that I was disappointed. It was bad in a lot of the ways that I expected it would be.
Have we been disappointed by any? Have any of the movies we've done recently been disappointing? I mean, because we went into Highlander.
We've been stuck in this trench for so long.
When you go into Highlander 2 expecting it to be like Highlander 2, and I mean, but.
And you follow it up with Hollow Man 2.
The Fly 2. The Fly 2 is okay. That's been the most watchable of these so far. Or, like, at least the most, like... The one that feels the most like an actual movie that should be released.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, after Hollow Man 2, really my only expectation with Lawnmower Man 2 was that stuff would happen in it, and at least it would be weird. And yeah, it just barely got over that low bar.
Yeah.
Was there anything?
It's really just kind of not worth it to watch, in my opinion. Just go look up clips of Matt Frewer being crazy, and you'll get everything you need out of this movie.
If you're expecting it to continue the first movie, it's not a good continuation either.
Yeah.
If for whatever reason you want to know what happens, like, after that first movie, then this movie doesn't give you much. And no, we will not be I don't even know if... Lawnmower Man 3, don't tell me that exists.
No, it does not exist.
It's in development, apparently.
No, it's not.
According to
You're
one
lying.
website. Wait, how long ago was this article written? That was like 5 years ago.
Okay, never mind. It's not coming, then we're safe.
If they did, though, if they were gonna do a Lawnmower Man 3, what the hell would it be?
Job comes back, takes over ChatGPT, builds his cult through that, starts getting access to more and more places and things, and slowly grows in power, while they bring Pierce Brosnan out of retirement to stop him.
Okay, yeah, we'll go with that, I guess. Or they could make it like that Ice Cube War of the Worlds movie or something.
Exactly.
Jeez. Where, like, Job becomes like a computer virus and takes over Ice Cube's computer.
There we go.
The fun doesn't end here because we're doing another sequel. Our next podcast is yet another sequel. It's RoboCop 2, Roderick Rules.
Until then, roll the Andy Griffith.
Good night, you stupid idiot. Good night, you miserable slob.